Okay, so there's a thing called an askhole. An askhole is maybe let me not hold the phone like I'm drunk. An asshole is someone who will ask for advice, and then they will uh, come up with every excuse not to use the advice you've given them. Okay, it doesn't matter what their problem is and what your solution to that problem is. There we go. Hey, it's steady and shit. Okay, doesn't matter. All of that can't work because. Okay. And most of the people who do that, I ain't gonna lie, probably 75-80% of the people that do that shit are just assholes. They will ask for help and they will not take advice. On the flip side, now this may be a minority, but god damn it, I'm always looking out for the minority. The real minority. If the government says minority, it's probably not. Anyway, so there are some people, and it depends on the way their mind operates to solve their own problems when they're not asking for anything, and just who they are. But there are some people that they think through. They come up with solutions to their problems, but before they tear shit up trying to implement it or make irreversible changes, they go, hold on. What all obstacles are in my path? Are those obstacles able to be overcome, even if through a lot of hard work? Are they able to be overcome in an amount of time and energy that can be made doable, to put it in some kind of way? There are people that they will look at a problem in a certain way. Okay, where they might not ask, and a lot of times these people don't ask for advice, not much, and they will ask themselves these questions. That's how you know the difference between an asshole and asshole never uses you fucking asshole. They'll just ask you for shit all day long and then just try to get you to solve their damn problem for them. Oh, well, you don't know the totality of circumstances. Well, that won't work because of this. Oh, well, then that won't work because of this. And then the person giving the advice gets frustrated and was like, I was trying to just hand you gold, but you're an asshole. You're an asshole. And then they don't help that person again. And why should they? Exactly. But there are some people who get confused by that when someone who has a certain specific way of thinking about things and takes into account the totality of their circumstances and realizes that totality of circumstances changes a lot of things. Just like if you're on a long range shooting gun range and you move your barrel 1 millimeter to the right or left, 100 yards later or 1,000 yards later, you might be 12 foot off in one direction or the other. And that's a huge thing. It's not much at the barrel, but it's a lot way out. And so if you've got a path that is like a bullseye that you're trying to hit, but you've got the problems, i.e. the terrain under and around you, in the way. Oh, we'll do this. Oh, well, that won't work because there is a hill in my fucking way. I can't shoot through the hill. Do this. Oh, well, yeah, except for right here, to get that shot, I've got to, or there's I don't know, a punji pit there. The only shot I have is here, or here, or here. And none of those are really good ones, you know. So what you were saying to do because you didn't see the hill won't work because you don't see the hill. Well, okay, yeah. But then you look like an asshole, right? You're like, how do I hit this target at 1,000 yards? And there's this in the way. Oh, and that's all the information they have. They're going to solve it just with that information. They're going to fill in the blanks with whatever they want. Okay. But now on these people that aren't just assholes, but are like, hold on, there's some real concerns here, and I can't shoot around a hill. Just sorry, that ain't happening. Like, that is physically impossible unless you're in the Matrix and you can bend bullets. Fuck all that. Okay? Now, there is a failing on the part of that person when they have asked someone, hey, that they know is competent in whatever they're talking about, hey, you know, what about this? How do I do this? Or whatever the case may be. What they're failing is not realizing, okay, the person is giving me advice. Instead of being so fucking quick thinking and be like, hold on, I want better advice, which is kind of an asshole thing to do. And, you know, some people are just oblivious to that, just autistic as hell, just don't get it. But that what would better serve that person who was asked and then gotten an answer to go, okay, thank you. Let me go try that out. And then divorce your time and energy from that conversation where you were asking that person for advice and go start working on the problem your damn self. You're trying to solve everything in brainstorming mode. And they're like, no, but you're just brainstorming because you ain't done it. I've done the shit. Just go out and try that. And if it ain't possible, if it ain't going to work that way, find out how you can tweak that to make it work. Maybe the solution is going back another 50 yards, in our example, where there's another hill so that you can shoot the fuck over that hill, dumbass. And you would see that if you would go and try to solve the problem with what they've given you, even if it's like a broken tool. Man, fix that tool and use it. Damn it. They will be surprised. And if not surprised, they'll at least be fucking pleased. Because you didn't asshole. Okay? Now, stop. Just take whatever, even if you know for a fact that shit ain't gonna work. And give it some time. And then give it a little more time. Stop feeling like, if I don't do this by tomorrow, the sun will fall into the earth. It won't, nigga. It won't. You'd be surprised. It won't. It hasn't before, and it will not in the future. Okay? May supernova, but that's a whole nother problem, and then you ain't got no problems because, yeah. So do that. If you're one of those very few minority of people who ask for advice and genuinely wants the advice, you're not being an asshole, but you see around corners really well. You're not as smart as you think. Even if you're literally a genius, you're not as smart as you think. Go try. And then show them with experience, I couldn't get this to work. And when they ask, or if they ask, or if not, volunteer. Hey, did you try, come back to them like, man, I tried exactly what you said and that shit didn't fucking work. And here's why. But I also tried this other thing that was kind of like what you said, but different. And that shit worked. Kinda. And then I figured out a way to refine that. And then you make them feel good, and they will be likely to give you advice again, because you can take their misshapen advice like it's clay and reshape it to your needs. It's good fucking clay. They're giving you good clay, man. They're giving you good gold to form into what you need. I need a ring. Well, here's gold. And you're like, oh, I can't. Nobody wants to hear that shit. They just gave you a lump of gold. Go fuck yourself. But if you fucking stop, go, thank you. I'm going to go try that. And do your brainstorming on your own instead of with them. You don't involve somebody with your brainstorming unless it's a group brainstorming project. And advice is not that. Okay. Take that and you'll be surprised what you can do on your own by just having them be. They just wanted to just give you a little thump, a little push in the right direction, hopefully, to get going. They didn't say they were going to hold your hand throughout the race, man. They got their own shit, their own race going on, but they go, there you go. Oh, well, that's not perfect because it's not giving me the perfect run and start and my left foot forward or my right foot forward or this or that or I ain't got my Nikes on. Go. That's the lesson. Go. Say, thanks for that advice. I'll take it under advisement. Even if you already know that shit damn well will not work the way they said it. Don't stress them with that. Say thank you. Walk the fuck away, and then take what they've given you and figure it the fuck out. And maybe their idea was so far off base. Now, this rarely happens, but maybe their idea was so fucking far off base that you can come back and say, man, let me tell you what I did. This is what I did. I know what you told me, and thank you, and I tried, and that shit was never, ever, ever going to work. And I know now through experience, not through brainstorming, through experience in the real world, not imaginary shit in your head. That's how we got into a bunch of shit, computer models of shit that never, ever, ever happened. 2 weeks anyway. Take what they've given you, say thank you, and then fuck off. Fuck off away from them. Or change the subject if you're physically around them, and then try to get away from them to go work on that. Don't work on it while they're around. Because they may not be accustomed to, you might be cussing too much, banging your head against the wall too many times for them to find it normal, and you're just like, oh no, that's Tuesday. That's how I solve problems on Tuesday. Okay, just realize these things in this ramble, because there's some gold in there. I swallowed it and I pooped it out. So there's gold in there. Figure it out. It's worth money. But yeah. So don't be an asshole, and don't make someone think that you're an asshole, even if you're not an asshole, because you think you're way too good at brainstorming and you can just solve all your problems in your head before you do them. Yeah. Now, I had a situation. I was doing a job where recently, and I'm like, okay. They're like, well, can't you do that? I'm like, no, I can't do that. Well, it turns out I could do that. I just forgot that in this circumstance I could. Generally, you can't, but in this circumstance you could. And that's how I'm going to solve that problem. But that's not exactly where I'm going with that. I'm sitting here going, okay, I know what I've got to do. I know what this has got to be when I leave. Okay? However, there's some things I can't do that I think I need to do it this way. I'm banging my head against the wall and it ain't working. And there's probably a simpler way. And eventually, I did find a simpler way to do it. And, we're going to finish that up on my next available day to do so. But while I was doing this, I didn't just want to grab out a chop saw and just start tearing everything up just so I could reach something the way I thought I needed to reach it. I was trying to find the least destructive way possible. Now, it's construction, so there's going to be a little cutting, little cutting going on, a little drilling going on. It's going to happen. But how do I do the least amount of that possible and get the objective, which is clear, completed? Well, I figured that out. I had to take a couple days to figure that out after getting about halfway into it and going, okay, sun's going down. Look, I've been here long enough today. Sun's gone down. I'll be back. And hopefully the next time I come back, I'll have it finished that day. We'll see how it goes. And now I'm confident that I will, because I was thinking I was having to do a hole. I was about ready to just cut a hole in someone's roof and someone's eave and, this, that, and the other, and drill into all kind of stuff and hope I don't drill into nothing critical. And, and then I was like, wait a second. And I talked to somebody and he gave me some advice, even without seeing it. At first he told me, well, I really have to see it, and I'm like, no, I understand that. And then I saw him again a few days later, and he was like, oh, well, you can just do it like this, because this is the jurisdiction you're operating in, not this other one, remember? And I'm like, oh my God, that's so simple. He's like, yeah, and if this is in the way, do it like this, and if that's in the way, do it like that. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you, yes. And it saved me from cutting a whole bunch of unnecessary holes in a man's house. And, I did cut some holes, and he was like, well, you didn't even have to do that. You could have surface mounted. And I'm like, yeah, but I want it to look nice. And it'll look much nicer if I recess this thing I'm doing into a wall than it will if I just slap it on there with some screws and say, hope you like it. I like to do quality work. Not saying he doesn't, just, sometimes you got to check the boxes. But that kind of gave me a lot of insight into that. Just a lot of things that have been happening the past couple of days have kind of given me these understandings of some things, and like hearing other people talk about this, and I'm like, yeah, but's a game. Yes, but that's a game. It's in a book called Games People Play. It's a psychology book from like the 60s or 70s, or I don't know, whenever. Came out around the same time as I'm Okay, You're Okay. Also worth reading. But yeah, so don't be an asshole. And if you're one of those people who likes to try to figure out the answer right then before you go and just tear some things up by application to get the experience, well, sometimes you just need to take the advice that they're giving you and say, okay, thank you, I'll go figure out how to make that work. And not know the answer when they give you the advice. And then go figure it out. You'll be better off in so many ways. And then that person will respect you more because they won't feel like they're wasting their time on you. Like, man, I told him to do this and he just told me, oh, no, I can't do that because I'm a big fucking faggot. Well, where's that getting you? Go try it. Divorce yourself from the situation, from that conversation where the person is giving you the advice. Say, okay, is there anything further that I'm, maybe you could add to that? Try to drag out every little last drop, but then do not come back to them. Do not say, hey, I thought, no, they are done in your brainstorming process at that point, and it's all on you. And then when you go and succeed, And you go, man, I took your advice and it didn't work like you said, but that's okay. And here's what I did, blah, blah, whatever, however y'all talk. And just let them, even if it wasn't their advice that actually got you to the end and it was all on you the whole time, well, maybe, whatever. I'd still tell them, hey, I couldn't have done it without your advice. Thank you very much. Even if you could have. Like, probably best. Right? Otherwise, you're just a fucking asshole. So don't be an asshole. Said it once and I'll say it 3 more times. But yeah, to sum up, I mean, just say, okay, cool. And then fuck off. Even if you can't work on the problem right then, you gotta like sleep on it and figure it out the next day. Just end the conversation. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna see if I can make that work. And then come back and be like, oh man, yeah, like I got it. Now I didn't do it your way. I wanted to do it your way. I tried to do it your way, but here's what I couldn't do, so I adapted it. Oh, you adapted it. Okay, I'm more likely now to give you advice in the future, and if that advice helped you, maybe my next advice will be better, because now I know you better. Yeah, maybe. And or start to get more pieces of the puzzle of the totality of circumstances of your situation. And instead of giving you a whole bunch of, well, it depends, or straight on answers that ain't necessarily going to work because I don't know all the it depends MET-TC factors. Well, yeah, like I say, don't be an asshole. Maybe that's the last time I'll say it. Maybe not. But that's pretty much what I gotta say. Like, if you're one of those very few type of people that thinks like that, I am sometimes, because I try to problem solve everything. I'm sitting here thinking 5 steps ahead of everything I do, so I don't end up tearing somebody's wall out of a building, just to put in something that I didn't have to tear somebody's wall out for. Really sucks to fucking, just go hard at it without thinking about it, and then, oh shit, now I owe this person way more than